most Jen Bell as always, and as expected, as I promised, we are continuing our Child's Play / Chucky franchise review. We are continuing with Child's Play 2. So, Child's Play 2 came out in 1990, starring Alex Vincent once again as Andy. Jenny Gutter, sorry if I mispronounced that, most commonly we kind of know her from, she's been in a ton of stuff, but probably most notably American Werewolf in London. We also have Gerrit Graham, who has been also in a billion things himself. Amazing character actor. He was in Chud 2. He was in Phantom of Paradise. Just tons and tons of things. Great actor. Also, Christine Elise and Brad Dourif returning as Chucky, and it is directed by John Lafia and written by Don Mancini. So, the second one, so many different things that they were going to do with this movie, such as bringing Andy's mom back, bringing Chris Sarandon back, which I think they actually did, and I believe that they actually filmed scenes with both actors, or at least one of them, but the scenes ended up getting cut and everything for, like, story reasons and everything. So they had to makeshift a few different little things and everything. But second movie is I feel like it's kind of like a nice second sequel, because it is still carrying some of the original sort of like ideas and motives and stuff of the first one. Obviously, like, Chucky's still trying to get into Andy's body and everything, and also to once again with, like, you know, new set of characters and everything with Andy. A lot of people still don't believe that this doll actually is inhabited by a human soul. You know, which kind of rightfully so, because I feel like, you know, sometimes with these movies, you know, to then go to the second one and it's like, oh my god, the doll's evil, the doll's possessed, whatnot. It's like, I don't want to see unrealistic, because it's a horror movie, it's a doll, but you know what I'm saying. But I do kind of like that they just still do this with this movie, because, you know, you do have all these traumatic events that Andy had gone through in the previous movie and everything. He is now in basically like foster care / you get a sense that it's a little bit more of a kind of like youth mental hospital and everything, but he's definitely getting like treatment and everything and help, because, like I said, of these past experiences that he just went through with his mom and everything. And interesting with this one, especially too with the Chris Sarandon character, it is kind of explained a little bit between the mom and Chris Sarandon's character and everything. I can't really remember. I think the mom in this, it was explained that she still was very much like, oh no, this is what happened, kind of sticking by her word, but definitely with, like, Chris Sarandon and the police and everything, they kind of went back on their word of, like, oh yeah, this is, you know, they started saying again, like, no, this actually didn't really happen, like, the mom's just a little crazy, and kind of rubbed off on the son and everything. So unfortunately, just without the help of the police now, Andy and his mother are kind of left to sort of, like, fight for themselves, which is really tough, because, you know, as a 6 or 8 or 10-year-old kid, however the fuck this kid's supposed to be, you really do kind of need your mom and look for that, you know, parental figure to help you out and protect you and everything. But Andy unfortunately doesn't have this, and he's wise enough to kind of know certain things, like certain things to say and everything, maybe not overly say that, you know, Chucky did and everything, but he kind of realizes, like, okay, yeah, you know, I have to kind of agree with my therapist and say, like, oh yeah, it was all a dream and everything, even though he knows, like, I know what I just went through. So, but he just knows, like, if he kind of agrees to this stuff, he knows a better chance of him and his mom getting back together. But unfortunately, not so much works out. We are introduced to the Simpsons, played by Jenny and Gerrit Graham, and they are suggested, or the foster care calls them and kind of recommends Andy to them, because they've had such good track record, or such a good track record with previous foster kids, that, they're the perfect fit. They're like the go-to parents, foster parents for kids who might need a little more care and attention. They really did not expect the magnitude and all the baggage that Andy is coming with. And interesting with The Simpsons, for example, like Jenny's character, like she very much, you can tell, very much is into this, very much wants to take care of kids. I don't think it was really explained, but we do know, like, they never have kids. I'm assuming probably she just has, or at least one of them has trouble trying to reproduce. It seems a little bit more on Jenny's character. But Garrett Graham's character, once again, and like, no disrespect to Garrett Graham because he's such a terrific actor, but every time he plays an asshole, he plays it to a T. And this right here, I love his assholeness in it, because he just really is not, you can tell, not even into this. It's like, oh, another kid, and very much right from the start, for whatever reason, just has a thing against Andy in his whole situation. Totally not understanding. So later on in the movie, when his character dies, at least for me, it's so satisfying, because it's like, you're a prick, and you deserved that, damn it. So, Chucky, bravo. So, but yeah, no, this is just a pretty fun one, and I love the relationship between Andy and Kyle, played by Christine Ellis, who I believe this was her first film. This was her film debut. I love their chemistry. I love the relationship that they have in this movie and everything. Because Kyle, who, like, her story is that her dad left, like, when she was really young, like 3 or something, or before she was born, and I think her mother gave her up for adoption at 3. I think that's what it was. So she's kind of just been on her own, shuffled around to all these different foster care homes and everything, and like she's so used to, like, just being shuffled around that she has not even unpacked her suitcase yet, and she's been there for like a month. And she's like, she kind of explains to Andy, like, yeah, like, I usually don't stick around at most foster cares because people kind of lose interest in me and everything, so I just have to, like, look out for myself. And she does give him some good advice at one point in the movie, of saying something along the lines of, you cannot depend on other people to look out for you. You only have yourself to look out for, for yourself, basically. And I love that too, because it's so true on so many levels. So, which it could have been a little foreshadowing, because they could have played it either way of, Kyle kind of coming to his rescue at the end, or just being like, screw this, like, I'm almost 18, screw this, like, kid's effed up, whatever. But she has sympathy with him, plus she discovers things about this Chucky doll that they think is the original doll that was in the house from another kid, this little Tommy one. She discovers after Andy is sent away after Garrett Graham's death. She's swinging on swings. She's very upset about, she just witnessed this murder. Andy's going away and kind of being pinned for it. Feel maybe she's kind of questioning in those couple of scenes of, like, did he really do this, or, like, is there something more to it? And like I said, that's when she kind of realizes that this Tommy, good guy, good doll, is buried underneath the swing on the tree. So that's when she's like, oh shit. But of course, it's already too late, and Chucky kind of holds her hostage, just like, take me to Andy. They get Andy, and yeah, all this crazy happens. And we also find out too, because he does actually go through with trying to do his little voodoo spell and everything. And when he completes it, nothing happens, because there's that moment where you're like, and he starts bleeding again or something, and he's like, damn it, it's too late. I'm like, they fucking go, Chucky. There you fucking go. It's been like 2 years. Come on, dude. Maybe like a year in Chucky world. But yeah, so and then the rest of it is Kyle and Andy trying to destroy Chucky and everything, Chucky and all this, and damn does he put up a fight in this one. God dang, I forgot how much of a fight he tries to put up in this. Like, he keeps coming back. Damn motherfucker. No, but this one is pretty decent. I don't know if I said this in my last review for the first one, but like my most memories of the Child's Play series really is like 1 through 3, specifically like 2 and 3, because I feel like I always saw those the most on TV and stuff. I feel like maybe a little more so with 3, but it's been a really long time since I've watched these movies. But something that I really do like about this movie that kind of brought some things back was when I was watching this as a kid, I thought Kyle was like the coolest girl ever. I loved her style and everything, and I was like, I wanna be that cool when I am her age and everything. I'm not that cool at her, even at my age, but she was one of those characters for me growing up that, you know, I would see, and I really liked watching this movie because of her, because of Christine Elliott and everything, and like I said, it's just her style was so like 1990, you know, very late, early 1990s style, and for some reason I do love that style, and I think just because like I was really kind of grown up during that time, so. But no, the second one, the second Child's Play, like I said, it's really kind of well done, you know, and it follows the whole, you know, sort of same formula of like, okay, sort of same story, but now he's got to try and prove to a whole new set of people that this Chucky doll is possessed, which I like. And from what I remember, the third one's very much kind of like that too. After that, like all the rest of them, I've really only seen once or twice, so I can't totally recall all the stuff and everything, except for the fact that like introduction to Jennifer Tilly in the series and like see to Chucky with them having a kid, which I don't know how that works out. Like, I can't remember how they explained it, but I'm like, weird. Anyway, though, although I was going to say, thinking about it, Bride of Chucky has got a pretty good cast. Jennifer Tilly's in it. I remember that, obviously. I mean, Brad Dourif obviously is in it. John Ritter's in it. And, isn't Alexa Arquette in this movie? I know, like, this was about the time when she was still doing kind of, like, both male and female roles, so, which I always loved about that with her. Did. So I'm just saying, rest in peace, Alexa Arquette, love ya. But yeah, no, this one, like, Child's Play 2 is fun. Like I said, similar formula and everything, but yeah, it's a fun one. And also, too, I know it's probably very common knowledge now, with the surplus of good guy dolls, because everyone's always kind of like, oh my god, there's so many good guy dolls. It wasn't really originally supposed to be set around Christmas and everything, but just like shooting schedules and stuff, and I think they decided to kind of nix that. But still, you know what? Like, I never really questioned that. Like, even while I was watching it the other day, I was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like normal, you know, or they could be getting ready for the upcoming season and everything. So, also too, I was going to bring up the, at the beginning of the movie with, because we kind of open up with the good guy company and everything inside the offices, and this was kind of like what replaced, like Chris Sarandon's, scenes, and even the stuff with Andy's mom, because I think she was supposed to be in like court or something, almost reminiscent of like Psycho 2, where it's like in a court scene and she's trying to just like prove like, hey, like, you know, I'm not crazy, like, I know this seems like a crazy story, but this is what happened. But, you know, they ended up nixing that, and instead we got this different opening scene, like I said, within the company and everything, and it's kind of interesting to sort of see that aspect of, you know, them trying to, or at least a company trying to do some damage control and like worried about, okay, is this really gonna affect, this one isolated incident? Is it really gonna bring down our sales? Like, how bad is it gonna be? What can we do to sort of like repair it? They're even kind of talking about, and I know that they, from what I understand, sort of did this or was sort of the basis for the reboot that came out last year, where one of the guys, I'm assuming like the president or something, says, oh, we'll just say that it was a disgruntled employee who got fired, and that was his one last little, like, thing against the company, kind of like jab to the company of just kind of messing with one of these dolls to make it go kind of berserk and everything. So that was kind of their thing with it and everything. And I kind of liked that. I did like that, and I almost wish that they would have kind of like maybe looked on that end more with the company side, with maybe the Andy story being a little bit more of like a B line or a B storyline. But I don't know. I still because I feel like we still needed to see what happened to Andy and his story and everything, but still would have been kind of cool to sort of see throughout the movie. And I feel like this may not have worked. Maybe it would have like muddled the movie a little bit, but to kind of also have this storyline of this company and what they're trying to do with all this, I don't know. It would have been kind of cool. I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, and like I said, I have not seen the newest Child's Play movie, so maybe that's a little bit more of what they did. Like I said, I know that that's kind of their what they did with the remake and how Chucky got crazy. I'm just saying, artificial intelligence and everything, but whatever. One of these days, hopefully I will get to watch it. I'm just saying, whatever. But anyway, that is my thoughts on Child's Play 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, as always. Till next time, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.